finally, but we have only one map because that's the change. You no longer play a best of 3. So let's take a look at our map bans. Of course, you get one ban, one ban, then one ban.
Yes, no one picks. That's the big difference. Is no one picks a map now.
Yep.
So it's just down to whatever's left. Now you may be confused by seeing 7 maps down at the bottom. So the new rule is basically that 2 of the maps will be auto banned and not selectable from the map pool per team. However, during the first week, we're doing a special thing where instead of doing them randomly, because obviously there's no previous match to go off of, we will just be removing Clubhouse and Villa each time, so that teams have a little bit extra time to practice those new maps. Villa being completely new, Clubhouse being very heavily renovated to where the point is basically new. So this is I imagine you're probably going to see those maps potentially tomorrow, but tonight you will not see either of those maps. However, they will be banning and deciding among the remaining 5, and then the maps that are played tonight will help decide what's available tomorrow, as the maps that are played per team will not be available selecting from the map pool for them in their next match.
Yeah, they're only available after 2 weeks cooldown, so that is why, at least now, you'll see the 2 maps that are grayed out, Clubhouse and Villa. It's because it's week 1, as you mentioned, Devin, we don't have those available. Let teams acclimate to them. We might see them tomorrow. We've seen one game on Villa being played, well, actually, technically 2 matches that were played on Villa during the French Nationals, and it was a very, very interesting game, including the bans, so we'll get to see those. But let's take a look at who banned what. This is, of course, each team gets 2. We'll remind you that both Cafe and Chalet have been removed, possibly for changes to be...
as well.
Yeah, possibly we'll get those 3 reintroduced after changes. It definitely is all up to the Siege Gods at Ubisoft. I'm looking at you. Consulate, Coastline, Bank, and Oregon removed, which leaves us with Border. Day 2, however, tomorrow, Border cannot be played by either NIP or Black Dragons. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, the gist is basically you won't see any team playing the same map 2 play days in a row. Other than that, it's just down to the bans. So that's the simplest way to remember it. But in this case, it's a good thing because we've seen a lot of Border yesterday. Seeing it again now. A little bit of Oregon as well. So everyone was kind of concerned about, well, it's just going to be Border Oregon all the time, these best ones. Now it can't be. At the very least, you'll get a week break from it.
Anticipated.
So yeah, I mean, obviously they could toggle between Border and Oregon, but if their opponent happened to pick the other map, then the opponent that you're going to be facing against the next time will be bringing basically the ban of their map that they played, so there's a good chance you won't be able to play either of those 2.
Yeah, we know it seems a bit complicated, but trust me, it's fairly simple. It makes a lot of sense. You'll go through it as we go through day in and day out.
It'll make more sense tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure, because tomorrow we'll be back with Hickson and Taro, and they'll guide you through the next phase of bans, and that's how you'll see it. So there you go. We at least have our map. We're going to see Border, and in general, maps have turned into, and matches in general, looking at the French Nationals, and even yesterday, teams have been turning into a lot of anchor-heavy lineup. Seen a lot of Echo comboed with Maestro and Smoke. And
well, there's so much extra utility for anchoring now with cameras and stuff like that they've built up. It's absolutely been, I'd say, a good a way to go about it for the defenders. But we also saw, for example, the 6-0 that we saw yesterday, part of that was due to very aggressive roaming defense as well. So it does really matter, too, I think, in terms of mentality, which side you start on. In this case, Nipper are going to be starting on the attack side. Now, depending on the map, in this case, normally this map could be a little attacker-sided. However, what we saw was the 6-0 on this particular map yesterday. So we did see a team, SSG Space Station Gaming in this case, show that it can be very defender-sided if you're playing against a team that's very caught off guard. Now, this is 5 rounds in a row of it, though. And so the reason I bring that up is, let's say you're just doing terrible at it. Let's say you're in the situation Cloud9 was, where you're 5-0 down and you switch sides. You're already so demoralized by that point that the switch isn't going to make a huge difference for you in the fact that you might be benefiting by being on the favorable side. I think this new format will show that favorable sides won't necessarily matter. It's just how you play them.
Yep. Yeah, it means that you have to adapt even faster. But at least you go from one round to the next one, knowing, okay, this is where we messed up the round before. This is how we're going to try to fix it. And there's no round in between for you to completely lose your guidance.
Yeah, and there's no way to win the match before side switch, but you can win them 1 round into post switch. So, because that is the minimum, is to win 6 rounds out of 10. Or you end up with a tie. And we do end up with interesting situations where we get very close to ties, but we have yet to see a tie. I do think very close, though. A lot of 6-4s and things like that yesterday.
All right. Well, we always value your opinion, so let's see what you guys voted on in our first matchup. The community vote, And NIP 62-38. I guess Black Dragons, they might have lost the old roster, but they have not lost their fan base.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, that's a big surprise for the Challenger League team versus a big contender.
Yeah.
So
let's be clear about it. NIP definitely have the pedigree to show that they are huge favorites in this matchup. It's up to Black Dragons to prove that they made it into Pro League. They can actually fight with basically at this point at least technically, the third best team in the region.
Yeah.
So it's no easy task, but we'll see if Black Dragons are up to it. Maybe they have some strategies in their mind to deal with NIP.
We did see at least Noble was the other Challenger League team in North America. They showed up big and they won their match, which was an exciting thing for a Challenger League team to come up like that, as opposed to the complete reverse for the Cloud9 versus SSG match. So it's definitely possible for a Challenger League team to contend, but in Latin America, where it's been very top-heavy for a while, this is definitely going to be, as you said, it's kind of a difficult battle here for Black Dragons.
I think the only time that we don't see Latin America being so top-heavy is in BR6.
Yeah.
And that's where upsets happen all the time. We've yet to see that online here in Pro League because BR6 is played on LAN, so it's a different format that they have. Maybe that is the big effect with a bit of a different format. Mind you, BR6 has been played with extended rounds and with different rule sets for basically the first third of Season 7 until now, as their finals are gearing up within the next month. So, yeah, it's a very scary thing for any region to come up and play now against Latin America that have been playing this way for quite a while, especially since this rule set of rounds and bans and everything will apply to all events, which means DreamHack Valencia will be played this way, Paris Major will be played this way in every single tournament after it, whether it is US Nationals, whether it's German Nationals, anything. It's just going to be played with this format. So NIP are coming into Valencia to play it on LAN.
Yeah.
That's going to be scary.
Now, yeah, I mean, obviously these teams are very LAN experienced, not just with BR6, but also going back to other events, and a lot of these teams have been at most of the finals and things like that, you know, at least the top teams. One interesting difference, I think, though, is so they have the experience from BR6, because all of these teams, pretty much, I think, except for maybe the Black Dragons one, have been playing in BR6, so they have experience with the side switching, the new rules in terms of where you play 5 rounds in a row on one side and then switch. But the key difference, I think, that they might not be as prepared for is the bomb site switching. So the way bomb site switching work now is, I guess, more like ranked in a way. So it is, it's just down to them having to switch to a third bomb site, potentially, if they win their other two. We'll see where they start, though, here on Border, whether or not they want to go with the typical Armory lockers, or as we saw in some of the matches last night, going down to vents first.
A lot of teams as well. Maybe it was a French thing, but seeing them play, it was very heavy on the bathroom towers, and it worked fine for them.
Yeah.
But there you go. We're going to guide you through the phases here, as before we start with our picks, we'll start for our bans. The bans, all 4 of them, apply to both teams for the entirety of this map. Glaz will be the first one to be banned out here for BD.
3 times last night. This is the big ban. It surprises me that Brazil would ban him, though.
Yeah, they can be fairly heavy on him, and NIP has some pretty good plays on the Glass. Thermite will be removed, which means one of our 2 potential hard destructors have been removed. They'll have to rely on the Habana. Maybe that'll be a bit too much for BD to play against. First defense, Mira, unsurprising. Remind you that in French Nationals, we're casting that actually last weekend, 29 out of the 31 played maps had Mira banned.
Yeah.
That is huge. Huge. Maybe Mira will go from the 2nd most picked operator in the world to basically barely ever picked the most banned one.
I think it was 50-50 for last night for North America banning. Maestro got banned a few times as well, so this is pretty similar to what we saw last night. In fact, I think this might be almost the exact same bans we saw in at least one of the Border matches where Thermite got banned as well as Mira.
Another defense operator we saw removed was Jaeger, because it's set up for a lot of IQ and buck play, because then you can have 4 grenades to play with, and even you can bring, you know, the sledge, you can bring some extra grenades to play with. Here we go. We went for their picks. Now we are in the reveal phase, which means both teams see all the operators, so you can see what your opponents are bringing, and after that we go into 6th pick. So 6th pick basically allows you to change one of those operators into something else. You'll see the Ash being brought in instead of the Blitz, and the Dock of Drunks being brought in. And Echo has had so many changes now with 2 drones. Sure, you lose out on the third usage that you can have on the yokai. However, with 2 yokais, you can play alongside your roamer to always have that yokai protecting him.
Yeah, one thing we've seen that I saw Redeemer doing, is Redeemer, a well-known Echo player, was he was able to play a drone up in Arsenal lockers where they're playing here at the bomb site, as well as have one down below in ventilation, which is nice because you want to see when that Buck's coming in or that Ash or whoever's coming in below to try and stop the bandit batteries. Having that yokai drone down there helps deny them being able to open up to an extent, but it's, I mean, it's not lethal. It's not like the Evil Eye where you could potentially kill them with it, so it will just at most slow them down. But I do like the potentials that have been opened up by having 2 drones now, and I think Echo is going to get a lot more pick. He's already had a much higher pick rate, and combined with Maestro, it's very brutal. Unlucky for them, of course, Maestro did get banned, so we will not see him this entire match.
Won't even see Mira, so my rambling about for like 10 minutes talking about how great of a Mira position, of how bad it is, will ultimately disappear.
Save that for a future match.
We'll save that for the future, that's for sure. Wag will drop in the drone here in the Skyline open area. Not going to find anybody just yet, but he's just setting up a drone here to make sure he has an eye on the rotations from the stairs.
What confuses me a little bit is why you would go from the castle to a dock in this case. I mean, castle's not the most essential operator on this bomb site, but dock doesn't necessarily offer a lot more unless you're just really playing off that ACOG. We see sometimes they'll go for peaks and things like that, but we didn't see any peaks come out from him. So it is definitely an interesting choice in whether or not it's going to affect. And already a line popping off, unfortunately, doesn't look like it's probably going to catch anyone off guard, which Docky would be the one to catch here so they could try and clear CCTV if possible. But at least they switched from the Blitz to the Ash, which they should be able to use. Unfortunately, didn't see that nade kill there, but...
The Jaeger dying from the grenade and even the smoke falling down. That's the problem here because a lot of teams have been going for the double ACOG play. That's why you see either the Dock or the Rook. You mentioned that. Rook has been played a lot more often than the Dock. That combos very well with the Echo and even having the Maestro on point. You play very anchor play, and you can even roam around with a Dock or a Rook. The thing is, roaming is more of a mindset play and not really fully linked to an operator. And P's at D, what a shot. Peaks with the SMG-11, gets the kill. 2 now left alive for Black Dragons. Levy has both yokais deployed, but he has to deal with the full wrath of all 5 players of NIP on full health.
Just doesn't seem like Black Dragons are warmed up here yet in terms of the kills. I feel like Doc should have won that gunfight. That was a nice rotate by him, but he lost it. And there goes Julio, killing LRGZ as well.
Levy, last man alive. We always talk about the Echo being great at clutching. 2 yokais definitely aids him in that. However, it's going to be a tough road here for Levy as he's going to be detected. We'll try to spot the Ash, but what a push from Kamikaze coming in from the backside. Everything is timed perfectly with NIP, and they will mop up BD very, very handily in this. There's pretty much nothing BD were even able to do. Not even in terms of delay, not in terms of 1v1 fights, not even the distances to use the ACOGs. It was basically like, yeah, we're NIP. We're just going to come in and pick you off one by one, and even have the Jaeger die to a grenade in the office.
Ironic and difficult.
Where's the ADS set up in office?
Yeah, they definitely did not help him, that's for sure. I'm not sure if they were just cleared out or what, but they do have a Twitch now potentially this time. An Alibi could actually get played here. Hard to say if that's a 6-pick tease or they're actually going to go with it. But the attacker lineup doesn't really need to change too much. It worked pretty well last time, but surprisingly they're not going to set up with that Ash that they were using. An Alibi unfortunately going to be switched out for the Dock yet again. Another...
Same lineup as we had before?
Yeah, it's the Twitch is going to be switched to the Ash. So they're still going to go with the Ash. I'm not sure why they feel like Ash should be a surprise pick. Doesn't seem like one that's really going to magically catch them off guard. That's kind of a... I mean, that was part of a standard lineup before, so... I think the Twitch is potentially a little more useful, though, depending on what they're bringing out utility-wise. But without the mirrors in play, maybe not as necessary.
That's very true. We used to see a lot of Twitch play. Well, early on in Season 7 wasn't really the case. However, by the end, everybody realized, why don't we just use Twitch and we can combo with the Zofia, and then we can just easily eliminate the mirror window that's set up, you know, either on the armory wall or inside in the desk. And just taking control of servers, well, now they don't even need that.
Yeah, the bans definitely took care of that, and I think this has made it much more difficult. Makes Echo that much more important when Mira is banned, I think, in a lot of situations. So it definitely helps, but the fact that they're dying so easily, or at least last round, fell very easily in CCTV and then just collapsed easily from there with their attempted peaks not working. They just couldn't win any of their actual challenges. They need to play, I think, a little smarter on their angles and bait NIP into them a little bit more, because trying to counter them directly clearly is not working. The gun battle's just going in NIP's favor every time.
One of the odd things about the defense is that the armory wall is completely destroyed, whereas usually you would see CCTV being set up being completely shot out, and then leave, reinforcing that armory window, armory wall. We're so used to talking about mirror window that's set up on it, not the case anymore, that's for sure. But this is a bit of an oddity. It seems like BD are trying to invite NIP in there to use the yokai to their advantage. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in the first round.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit better strategy in terms of opening up that wall, giving themselves some angles to play into, as you said, Nip to play into them a little bit more, because without the mirror window, they're not able to play that wall or doorway as effectively. The question is whether or not they can hold the right angles, and whether or not grenades, for example, from PZD will be able to pull off people from the half wall and things like that. Because that is the big challenge, is living through that half wall. Now, they do have the Jaeger to be able to try and stop grenades from back there. No Thatcher or anything like that, and they got rid of the Twitch. So they don't have necessarily the utility to take out those ADSs if they are there protecting the half wall. But just, again, comes down to gun battles. And if they could take CCTV first again, I don't think it'll go all that great for BD.
All right, the Jaeger setup is still in archives as RDZ will sit in the office. Doki might just get pushed right now. You see all the players from NIP, at least 4 of them, are set up to push right into him. He's got ADSs to protect him. Unfortunately for him, Dokibi's already used her quick call, and it means that everybody knows that he's set solo in CCTV, at least with Drunksy on the other side of it to help him with the ACOGs. It's a very long angle that he'll have to play.
Yeah, at this point, they're getting pushed out pretty heavily, and Psycho taking down Doki. That's a good start to that.
Slash still set up in the armor. He'll try to go for the PZD getting the kill on Drunks. And still, PZD so low on health. He's already done the work. RDZ will try to go up the main stairs as the hallway might just be contested. He's got Levy to help him on the Echo, but damage done to the Jaeger means they have to be very careful in the engagement here. And RDZ gets shot down. Psycho is just holding the angle perfectly, but Slash will get the kill. Finally, a kill going the way of Black Dragons, their first one in the matchup.
That is not a good thing to say for a team, to only have 1 kill in the first 2 rounds, but at least not a flawless round the second time around. It was nearly that, and that was... I'm not feeling like BD are going to do too great on this map in this particular matchup. Obviously, as you said, much like with the Cloud9 situation, even if they lose this, even if it turns into a 6-0, this is experience for them building towards the league format. They will get to play again tomorrow against, you know, a different matchup that maybe they can fare a little bit better against.
And that's the thing. You play 14 times in the season.
That's a lot of practice.
Yeah. So, hey, you lose once, it's not the end of the world. We remind you, our bans, Maestro Mira removed on the defense, Thermite and Glaz on the attack. And you know what? Those bans on the attack are definitely not hurting NIP at all. If anything, the bans on the defense just play perfectly into their hands. They don't even seem that they wanted to play the Thermite. They can just push from the armory wall. And this is what I don't understand. If you know that Thermite is banned, why do you not already reinforce the armory wall?
Yeah,
it plays into your advantage. It forces the attack to use the Havana charges. You can have a defense that is more set up around the CCTV, and then with that, you might just be able to impact nade those Habanas, or you can just take care of the Kairos in any other way. Bandit's not banned. The Jaeger, finally we see the Bandit for BD, but it's just slowly taking shape, and I'm not sure why.
I mean, I definitely agree in the sense that if you don't have the Thermite, you could potentially force them to fight offices instead, which they haven't done yet. But it's also the case where you can fight them with a wall on your back.
Yeah, well, they have reinforced one of the 2 walls on the armory.
Looks like maybe it's a start now. It's hard to see from that angle, but it looks like they got the second one as well. So that is good. And they also have the Bandit on that. So this is much better.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were explaining. Why do you not reinforce the wall and play hard on CCTV? Well, that's exactly what they did. We need to make sure that they don't have comms with us, I guess.
I feel like the CCTV holds that they're doing are just not working that well. I almost feel like they'd be better off rotating some of the players, maybe even playing some downstairs, which it looks like they might be, and rotate back for more of a retake strategy. Let them have CCTV, flank them instead, be able to play a little bit more robust in offices and come from like flank from that side. Maybe even set up some traps or cameras that, you know, don't get revealed, because you do have Valkyrie, as well as the extra Echo drone potentially, but...
No. No. You lose the Twitch drone. There's still one more to be used here. Unfortunately, the Echo spotted the drone half a second before he went on his yokai to remaneuver. So unfortunately, Twitch drone will be spotted, and well, Wog will go down. So no more Hibana for NIP. Black Dragon scoring their second kill here. A bit of damage done to the Echo, of course, from the drone, but that's not really the end of the world. And you see Drunks setting up here in the CCTV. He'll go for the peek into the fountain. This is an older style of play where instead of holding in the fountain with a Mira, since she's not available, you'll play all the way in the back. Not sure about that peek though, as the Jaeger will take quite a bit of damage, and even Levy getting tagged.
Well, at least they killed the Hibana, and that is a good thing because of what we were talking about earlier about the wall being reinforced and the batteries on it. So it'll be that much harder for them to get any kind of angles on them. And then it is a 5v3. Not to mention losing the sledge means some grenades off the board. They don't have any backup grenades from any of the players. This is not bringing IQ or anything like that. Now, one more of Nip falls. Psycho going down. This is looking complete reversal of what we saw previously.
And IP seems like BD have adjusted to the play style of Nip, as this pretty much should have been the exact same of what we saw before. Oh, Julio peeking in, spots the one player by those eastern stairs, yet unfortunately cannot get the kill. Kamikaze falling back, even waiting for possible drop from CCTV as the hatch is open. And you see the defensive BD is definitely available to strike again. Even the Bandit might go for a play from there, though it'll be up to RDZ as he'll get one kill. He'll get dropped though by Kamikaze in the server room, but there's already only Kamikaze left. SMG-12, great gun. I don't really think it's going to win you a 1v4 though, and there you go. Seems like Levy agrees, and he'll find the angle from above, get the kill on Kamikaze.
Well, that was, yeah, a very, very much different round from Black Dragons. I felt like they were positioned like snakes ready to strike, doing exactly what we said, letting Nip play more into them and then striking when they had the intel, when they had the angles and opportunity. That was exactly how they should have been playing it earlier. Maybe, you know, wouldn't have been a 4v1 situation in earlier rounds, but still, that is the play style that is going to work here. Obviously, they only have 2 more defensive rounds to continue that, though. And now that they've won that bomb site, they have to switch to another bomb site and see how well they can play that. The question is, how are Nip going to attack that in terms of the way they were attacking the top floor? They still need to take the top floor for that. So if they could defend that as well as they did that last round, could work.
All right, we go into reveal phase. Everybody can see all the operators, and now we head into 6th pick. So you see there's a 6 logo over the players, which means you know which ones are being exchanged. And IQ will be brought here by NIP. Castle will be brought by Black Dragons. We're big fans of Castle here at Pro League, at least the Castro crew.
Yeah.
We think Castle is an absolutely fantastic operator, and he brings a lot to the table. Not only does he bring those 3 reinforcements that he can put on windows or even to block things out. You'll see quite a bit of use here between the bathroom and the entryway from the passport area. But those 2 impact grenades also bring a lot to the table. The UMP might not be the best damage dealer at distance. However, it's much easier to get those headshots with the UMP than with most weapons that are available to the defense. You know, if you don't count any ACOGs, they're being used as MP5s.
Yeah. Also, one thing we often forget about is now Castle has the bulletproof camera as an option. Something you may not see a lot, but there are only a couple operators that have that get played regularly. And
Mute has it. Vigil even has it, which is I don't know.
And Vigil is not likely to switch off it from the impact grenades. Neither is Mute likely to switch off C4. However, Castle, I think, has a little more playability in terms of using it depending on the bomb site. This is one where his impact grenades are good for setting up the rotate to bathroom that he's immediately going to Castle off. So I think it's most likely they're going to go with impact grenades on him. But I do like the opportunity to have Castle help set up a little bit extra defense as well.
If anything, the...
Nice catch.
Oh, there we go. That's the Valkyrie cam that will get taken out. But if anything, the stationary camera, even though it has one angle, it was a response to Ying Glass meta. You ban one of them, and it makes it a lot easier because now, obviously, you don't have to deal with Ying having smokes.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier. The 4 smokes are pretty much gone. However, Dokkaebi can still bring quite a bit to the table, but Glass is banned out. So it just depends on how you play the ban phase. There's so many moving parts to every match now that analyzing would literally take ages.
Yeah, it's definitely keeping us on our toes, say at least. Not to mention with all the 6 picks, we have seen a 6 pick every round from both teams. They both switched up a lot. We've seen Ash to Twitch, Twitch to Ash, back and forth. Castle's being picked off, finally being picked on. So they'll play it both ways, and it seems like, ooh, nice attempt at this angle here. Fortunately, cannot win the gunfight, but that's a good amount of damage to the Bandit.
I'll have to play with the back of the desk because he can still get the spot on Psycho, but somehow Psycho's allowed to come in and nab 2 kills. What is this?
Oh.
Both players on their cameras instead of having at least one of them watching. Levy will detect the IQ running up here as RDZ will finally get a kill. PZD will get removed, but that's just sledge. It's not the end of the world losing him. Sure, the castle barricades are becoming a bit more difficult to deal with, but it's not really the end of the world for Nip.
Yeah, you've still got grenades, you've still potentially got X-Kairos. Those definitely can get opened. And I think that 6th pick to IQ definitely threw them off a little bit, but it's not like they were playing a Vigil or a Pulse where they were going to get tracked. They were teasing that they were going to play Pulse, and maybe that IQ was an attempted counter pick to track down that Pulse, but the 6th picks are blind to each other, so ooh, nice kill there.
Julio, what an angle, playing it all the way from the balcony, looking through into the CCTV office. RDZ, of course, the Echo here, Levy still alive. They're going to be anchoring back on site. Unfortunately, the roam tries from BD are not working at all. I don't know what they really would like to change in this. Maybe Maestro would have been a perfect pick for them. Can't wait. Maybe if we have enough operators in the game, then now you can go for a save instead of a ban. Maybe that'll be something in the future.
We'll see. So far, though, I don't think we've seen good use out of that Echo by Levy, and I think that's been costing them some of the rounds, especially this one on CCTV.
He's going to play in the back to support the smoke as he goes in for the 1v1, but Julio ready for him, and Psycho nabs the 3rd kill on the IQ, just letting him run around. Running circles, of course, even though they didn't have the sledge, as you mentioned, grenades do the work just fine. The hatch opened, the kill on the Echo, and that's the round now. Number 4 going the way of Nip, up 3-1 as we head to round number 5. We'll be seeing a lot of good half by the end of round 5, because at the end of 5, you have to switch sides. And BD have at least gotten 1 round on the board, which means that the potential of comeback is much higher. Even if Nip take this 4-1, BD can still bring it back.
Yeah, it does surprise me that they went with Vents again, because they did have the choice potentially. Well, no, I'm sorry, it hasn't been 2 rounds yet because of the new rules. They couldn't pick another bomb site, if I remember correctly. I mean, they couldn't pick Vents again. They could pick another bomb site, but because they had just won
Armory.
Lockers, yeah, Armory Lockers, they couldn't pick it again. So unfortunate for them that they're stuck on this bomb site, as it did not work out great for them. We do have at least 1 6th pick. I thought we weren't going to get any over to the Zofia this time, which I think is it gives them a little more flexibility. What we were talking about with the castle barricades, where they lost the sledge and then they would have to go with the grenades. Zofia is a little bit safer of a choice in terms of being able to compensate for the lack of sledge, and that is instead of the IQ this time. So I think that was a good choice, knowing you're going to have to deal with castle, knowing they can't play Armory Lockers Archives again, and they're likely going to have that castle, which they did show. He saw that 6th picked, and that's how you're supposed to play 6th pick.
Yeah, and if anything, Castle is one of the greatest operators that you can have if you're defending on Vents. It's very understandable that NIP will go for a counter pick on the Zofia. However, removing the IQ won't really be too good of an idea, because now the Ela is being brought up for BD, which means you might have to face against Gzmot mines. You might have to face as well the Echo drones. I know. I'm gonna harp around the French play style, but seeing how Vitality played their games when they lost pretty much half of their rounds on the attack were all due to plants in the last 10 seconds and Echo pretty much shutting them down every single time. It's not really something you would see in Latin America, but very much a possibility.
To be fair, I rarely saw IQ pull out the gadget during that last round, so it didn't seem necessary, and Echo was just not doing a great job with the Yokais. So between those 2 things, I would just say, just based off the last round alone, did not seem necessary to bring that IQ.
Very good point.
But we'll see how this round plays out. Levy could do a little bit better job this time playing down in sight. At least try and support his players, but he's spending so much time rotating around and bringing the Supernova. He's going to be depending highly on that Bearing 9, not going to be able to utilize the ACOG on his primary rifle. So we'll see how that works out for him.
Maybe if you could slap an ACOG on the Supernova.
If you could slap an ACOG. Yeah, or slap it on an LMG like Maestro. That is definitely a play. Yeah, so, I mean, you know, Psycho obviously has his ACOG as well. See if these phone calls seem to be making a little bit of a difference previously when he was bringing those out. Not the case where it was necessarily like lion level power in terms of forcing them into positions, but it did seem to help with a little bit of knowledge about positions when they started to approach a room, and it made for easier pre-fires. So I do think that is working to an extent. We're not seeing a ton of use of the smokes themselves, but the logic bombs definitely seem to help.
Well, at least the logic bombs allow the attackers to just scout things out indirectly, listening out to any ringtones that they can hear around.
It helps with droning too, because you can pick it up on the drone a little more safely than being near it physically.
Very, very true. As when you're in drone mode, then what you're going to be hearing is just the voice from the drone, and somehow Wog not able to get the finisher there, as the 41-round mag for Ella will be the victor in this one. And even a quick peek opening up the office in CCTV, and they can go for the repeat. The Valkyrie cam helping quite a bit here. The shot from Psycho through the wall. Absolutely insane here, living up to the name, and Julio will get a refrag as well. I'll go for the pickup on Kamikaze, and PZD is somehow still alive. So losing Wog, sure, big problem. You lose Ella, Valkyrie, and the castle on here. We're back to square one, just like we saw in the previous round, all up to Echo and Smoke.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two site denial, but it's just, they're never getting to the point where a plant needs to even be denied. Just with the aggressiveness here that we've seen in 28 seconds left, I don't know if we're going to see that point. I think they're most likely going to die at this rate first, especially with the RDZ off-site like this.
Well, they've already gotten on the site here. The attackers, the face-off here. RDZ will win it. Levy even will make it happen, but there's still 14 seconds left on the clock, and we turn it to a 2v2. Bearing 9, not enough to win it, and as I say that, headshot, Kamikaze going down, all up to Julio. A player with the most experience. If anything, it'll get shot from the back. RDZ ready for it, and round number 5 will go the way of BD. Even the last 2 anchors alive, you know what? Doesn't matter. Black Dragons are still up for it. A few misses with the Bearing 9, but all it takes is readjusting and landing the headshot. Works out fine. 2 kills with the Bearing 9, 2 kills with the SMG-11. Goes on well. BD get the second round, and now you see the switch between the two. NIP going on the defense, and Black Dragons on the attack. 1st to 6 wins it, but there is the possibility of a tie, 5-5, and that'll end the match in a draw.
Yeah, I don't know if BD really should have won that last round, but they did lose the majority of their defensive rounds, so we'll see if they can do any better on attack here. This is they're going to have to play it pretty aggressively to be able to counter the way NIP play, but we'll see how they play on defense in terms of will they go for heavy roams and play off their ability to win gun battles, or will they just play it a little more passive?
All right, the buck exchanged for the sledge for Black Dragons. NIP grabbing Echo for this round. Echo is going to be a must pick, because here's the thing. If you don't, in my mind, I see it this way. If you're expecting a heavy on-site defense, there's 3 operators to keep in mind. Echo, Maestro, and Mira. 2 of those only can be banned.
Yep.
So you ban the Maestro, you ban the Mira, you still have to expect the Echo. If you ban the Mira and any other operator, you still have to face against potentially the Smoke, the Echo, and the Maestro, which are extremely strong in combination on a site. However, Maestro is banned out in this time. Remember, every time you go back into operator selection, you see all the bans right up top. And while NIP now on the defense, they'll be setting up their Valkyrie cams. And we'll see if they play this aggressively or more reserved on a site.
Yeah, and I feel like those Maestro bans are not necessarily even due to the his gadget, things like that. It's just that LMG with an ACOG we've seen.
It's a combo.
Yesterday. It's a brutal gun.
He's really good. Maestro is just a really good operator. He's even you wouldn't think it, but he's fairly flexible when it comes to everything that he can do. The LMG is very strong, well, with an ACOG or with a hollow, but you can definitely hold long angles with it. You have 2 Black Eyes that we've seen before, even ruining the day for Habana or a Thermite. We saw it yesterday against Habanas, where it's completely shot down all of the X-Kairos that were set up on a wall. So yeah, you have to fear the Maestro.
Absolutely, and grenades can obviously take it out, but there's, these teams are pretty used to denying grenades. Jaeger's still on the board, so it is, it's probably good though that for them that Maestro's banned. Although we never see anyone ban out Smoke. It's always just Mira and Maestro for the most part. Yeah. Other than that Jaeger ban, that was an interesting one. I do like the idea of being able to play more grenade operators like Rogue did. So
I think we'll see more of that in EU. I'm very much expecting it, because there were some talks going around from after scrims and some talks, and maybe it'll be a strategy that Europe will be implementing a bit more. But hey, we're still in the beginning of the season. There's a lot more to show. Though Drunksy playing from below. He's got his explosive grenade here. He's going to try to open up an angle, take down anybody from below.
I like that he's actually being prepared for them to drop hatch on him. He was watching it earlier, went for his blow up of the grenades, and then rotated right back to watching the hatch again. And that's smart play. He knows that they got to go for a flank if they want to take him out, especially being the Ash. Taking him out early would be a good idea. But alas, they are not falling for it. And then the Lion and the Dokkaebi both hitting up Bandit. So he's in a tough spot here trying to peek this hole.
And this is why you saw the Ash moving into ventilation and server as quickly as possible, because they want to deny the Bandit going for the Bandit tricking. We'll go in for the shots, at least from below. Psycho has taken a bit of damage. You see Julio rolling back with his Yokai drone. C4 is going to get thrown out from Psycho. Unfortunately, will not connect with anyone.
Well, that is a waste of C4, but at least I think Bandit's doing a good job here. Despite the holes getting opened up below him, he is able to get his batteries back up and try and defend this wall fairly actively. We'll see if he can hold it, though.
All right, PZD with the standard angle on the half wall. Turn a look on down. Not going to find anybody in the ventilation. Psycho, what a very close angle here that he's holding, using his smokes, at least from WOG, to help him out. This is a great spot here for the Yokai drone, as you'll see Ash at least being slowed down for a bit. 13 seconds left on the clock as you see the 2 kills going the way of Black Dragons. Kamikaze, though, will get 1. Well, he'll get the second as well on the Jaeger. As the Echo is still set in the back. Diffuser has not been set just yet on the floor. Julio's going to try to deny it. Unfortunately, just half a second too late. Now NIP with the retake. WOG is on the floor. They'll need to pick him up, but he's in such an open position in the back that it might just be too little too late. Julio will drop from below and maybe try and fight from an opposing angle, as they know they have to deal with the Ash. And well, Julio will find the kill downstairs. Push in as WOG has been picked up. Not too sure how that happens. Kamikaze will get 1. All up to RDZ. He does not have a kill. He still has his 2 gas grenades. Goes in for the kill. Fortunately cannot drop Kamikaze. Goes in for the triple. RDZ! Are you ready for that? SMG-12 will connect. And the 3 players of NIP line up perfectly for RDZ. Just shuts them all down to the floor. This is pretty much an SMG-12 player's wet dream. Everybody lines up for you and just all your bullets go into him.
That absolutely should not have worked. That was, I would say, embarrassing for the defense at that point. To just get annihilated like that by just a spray of the SMG-12. Let's hope they don't repeat that. But it does bring it up to a tie game here that now that NIP have let another one slip. That is not a good play for them, letting it get to tie like this, because that means there's a chance we could end up in a tie situation, which I can't imagine they'll be happy.
100% would be an upset here. So far, BD have been very, very impressive in their plays. NIP started so well early on, yet they got blindsided 2 rounds in a row. Seems like BD were able to learn their play style very, very quickly. And then, well, even on the attack, BD definitely know what they're doing, that's for sure. Well, Valkyrie will be our only 6th pick in this round, as it'll be the defensive NIP that'll bring her in.
Interesting that they would go from the Pulse to Valkyrie. I do think you get a little more flexible intelligence, potentially on the cameras, but at the same time, the Pulse is so effective for that C4 from below, especially on this particular bomb site where they're often going to be trying to plant in somewhat predictable spots. However, you know, they did a good job of attacking from below with that Ash earlier, and that is something that the Pulse would have to contest with. It could also have been a bait to make them think they were going to have to worry about clearing the bottom floor.
RDC pretty much has more kills than all of his teammates combined.
Especially with that last round put in there. He is definitely carrying his team, especially Docky there. And I mean, it's fantastic to see him actually able to stack up here against a team like NIP. So just smart plays on his part, and then also some mistakes on NIP, especially that last round, are definitely giving that away. I do think NIP are going to get it together here, though, I imagine, and kind of recollect themselves from that last round.
I love this Valkyrie camera setup. That's one that is very difficult to spot, and you have to expose yourself if you're on the attack to actually find the angle on it, because it's in the barbed wire. So a lot of Valkyries, at least back in the day, some of the players that, one of the players that majorly used to do it was Pengu, and it was a very simple way of predicting where your opponents will be coming in if they're going to use ventilation to their advantage. By well, back then you didn't have the Lion, but the Blackbeard was definitely a big operator to set up there with the SR-25, and you can just go for picks, and that has happened time and time again. This NIP will have a lot of information trickling in with the 2 Yokais, adds a lot to it.
Yeah, having that intel on the vents definitely helps, because you know whether or not you can safely rotate around between archives and Fountain, Archives, and the main site in Lockers. So it definitely helps at least have some security in that knowledge, although we haven't really seen anyone playing that AC unit much yet, although it has only been one round into the switch. So definitely possible. We could even see the Lion here doing that as he rotates across the roof. But they are definitely taking the time and droning it out. They're trying to play this a little more cautiously this time after the loss on that last round. Or I'm sorry, the win on that round.
Well, the calls are going to be set in by RDZ. As Dokkaebi is definitely one of those operators that is very, very favored in the current meta. We saw a lot of players Dokkaebi in Season 7, especially towards the mid-half to the end. And well, now she seems to be a big, big part of that attack. A lot open here as PZD trying to find an angle and Eddie Beauty entering even the building. They're very afraid of that Ash, and they've seen how much damage it can do before as it made the defense around the wall much, much softer, and that allowed for the SMG-12 to do that much damage at the end of it. We'll see the Bandit Battery getting it perfectly here, but Slash will get the kill on PZD. They'll lose at least 4 of the Kairos there being removed. We'll leave 2 of them as the Echo sets up. That's a tiny angle. You can still use that, but it's a tiny angle. You'll have to plant for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, plant right in front of that potentially even. But yeah, I mean, too little too late on that Bandit kill. It was definitely worth getting the kill, so you could try to set up more, but then obviously that failed X-Cairo shots. And there's a nice kill there onto that Zofia to punish that back 4v4 now.
You know, Wog in the back, throwing in his last gas canister. The MPX trying to contest. Leave the Lion playing here on the ventilation. It's a very normal position to have because it cuts up a lot of rotations through this doorway. Unfortunately, not going to be the case here. Is Wog even getting the kill on Drunk, so limiting the Ash and the Zofia. Both of those aggressive operators have been shot down. A lot of the utility that the Zofia brings, but you know what? RDC still has the SMG-12 in hand. He'll drop one, can't drop the second, as Levy will refrag on Wog. Last 2 alive. Kamikaze nailing the kill on Levy even before the Echo drone. Yokai is able to fire off their volley. Another one of the changes that Echo has had, instead of not just having the 2 Yokais, but instead of having 3 charges per Yokai, he only has 2, and the cooldown, not really the cooldown, but like the recharge time for every charge that he puts out is now 20 seconds, which is a lot more than it was. It's at least double, which means that you have to be very careful in how you play it. You won't always have the 2 Yokais present around the diffuser and where it's going to be planted, because then any IQ can shut it down, and you're always looking for the second one after you destroy the first one anyways if you're on the attack. Definitely something to look out for later, because Yokai has been employed very much to help out the roamers in their game.
Yeah, and absolutely, they're using it a lot. I'd say a lot more effectively than Black Dragons did, and that's definitely paying off in those defenses. But like you said, you have to worry about those recharge rates, which means when you're trying to deny the defuse plant, you have to time it that much more. You have to wait until they've been trying to defuse or plant the diffuser for a while for hitting. Something you normally had to do as Echo, but as you said, with the higher recharge rates and the less charges per Yokai, that means you have to be even that much more conscious, because you can only hit so many times to deny that, to give your teammates a chance to come up and get that kill, as we just saw with that last round.
Yeah, you're setting up with the Yokai. You want to throw up because it's a 7-second plant time, right? Because we're playing official Pro League rule set. Well, you want to wait until 6.5 seconds and then use it. Then switch back to the Yokai, pull it down from the ceiling, relocate as you get ready to fire off the second volley, potentially in the meantime controlling another Yokai to set it up. There's a lot of work. You have to juggle between cameras, you have to juggle between Yokais, and even, well, your own position, because you're still an operator, not just a camera operator. So information game, very important. You still have to actually be aware of everything that your opponents are doing when you're on the defense.
Well, I imagine now that those buffs are in and people are going to have to be playing that at a pro level, I imagine Echo play by the end of the 6 months will be very, very high level. But right now it is going to be a little bit of a struggle for people who have not been playing it as much as someone like, say, Redeemer.
Yeah, I want to see more of Redeemer. I remember the instant this was announced in the designer notes, Redeemer was the happiest man on the planet.
Threw himself a little party.
Well, we'll see what happens in NA Day 2 coming in next week. More of Redeemer coming soon, TM. Well, PZD now in the meantime, holding off in the fountain. He's opting for the SMG-12 instead of the K1A, the Kia.
The kill. I think that might be the first Vigil we've seen so far in this matchup, so that should be interesting. And as you may notice as well, of course, because they won lockers, they had to go down to vents now, so we haven't seen them defend this bomb site yet.
We have a Legion.
I think it's first Legion as well, so they're definitely playing defense differently.
And there's no Jaeger, so that's
no
another...
Castle either. Yeah, this is a
bit of an
unorthodox.
oddity. Yeah, very, very unorthodox, because Castle is usually an operator you'll always be bringing here, but it seems like NiP want to blindside BD and play the usual that they do, which is, hey, we're going to knock you down one by one before you can even get on the site. Now they'll have to play against Drunks, who's just moving in the hallway. One excellent thing about Latin America in general is the drone play. There's always drones running around the map, helping out the players that are mostly going to be on more of the offense. Of course, Slash and Drunks are going to work this one together. Grenade going to be thrown down, as it will be just doing a hair of damage on walk.
Yeah. Well, that is less grenades on the board here, and they didn't bring an IQ or anything like that. They do have Zofia, though, with 2 lifelines left. That could help with that. I feel like they need to take down RDZ, though, early if they want to be able to salvage this round and make sure that they can win it, because that has been pretty much the only thing that's been working out for BD. And they are starting to get set up potentially for a plant here soon.
Now, we'll get the information. He spotted the leg there, but he did not have enough bullets. There you go, Levy with the cleanup. Wag will go down. Doki will get the second one as well. And Kamikaze, this game, Devin, is heating up. Definitely BD, the underdogs in this one, trying to bring this one back as NIP lose the Legion, they lose the smoke. But finally, Julio will get the kill with the Bandit. Has to reload as he sets himself back up in the ventilation behind the reinforced wall. They're expecting the attack to come in from the bathroom, and PZD's position on the Vigil to jump in from the main hallway will be very important in this. Jumps on down, 10 seconds left on the clock. He's trying to find his opponents as they come in. Drunksy watching the back. They're going for the diffuser. Slash will get the kill on Julio. The kill in before the diffuser is set, but it's already Drunksy from BD will still get the kill on Psycho and Black Dragons. They tie it up 4-4. NIP still need 2 rounds to win, but this is a lot tighter than you would have expected.
Absolutely. I mean, just surprising to see BD come back the way that they're coming back. Attack, definitely their strength here. Much better than the defensive rounds. It just seems like the way that NiP's trying to play a little more unconventional play is not working out for them in a lot of these defensive rounds. And that was also Doki's first round, cutting his teeth on a kill as well. So that definitely shows you how much of a advantage BD seemed to have on that particular round, just catching them completely off guard. You saw even that shot on that smoke through the wall there, catching his leg. Just, you know, small misplays like that. I do like that they were at least ready for the jump in from the teller's window as well. You saw that one window was broken and one window was not. That actually made it a little more predictable which one would be entered from. Might help a little bit on trying to help cover that flank. But at the same time, you know, obviously you are going to want to take advantage of the one that is the more silent one, especially as Vigil, where stealth is key to playing that operator correctly. Fortunately for him, it just was played right into their own hands. Obviously, that's down to timing, though, really. Obviously, he could have timed, you know, jumped over right when they were looking the other way. So small moments that make you wish it had gone down a little bit differently, because I feel like I think they could have won that round potentially, had that Vigil flank worked even. Hard to say.
No, NiP will still refuse to bring the castle in the matchup here.
That certainly would have saved Smoke's life.
That's for sure. Everything in hindsight, of course, but the Vigil would not work out in their way, that's for sure. And the Legion was shut down every single time. The drones are excellent from Black Dragons. This is Latin America in general, where you know, Legion is a strong operator, but they're able to pick off the utility much earlier than you would expect. And it plays very much in their hands. Of course, Psycho running the old Elevate Charm on his MPX. Shout out to Laxing back in the day, that's for sure. But the Black Guys will get set as well. As you saw him go out very quickly outside of the stairs, that's pretty much to get the pick on any drones that were left right outside of the office and CCTV. We've used to see that a lot on Skyscraper as well, when it was still in the map pool, where you would see 2 or 3 drones parked right outside of the main window, looking into Geisha, and that was just an easy pick. 3 drones removed. It's pretty huge.
Yeah. Lion's still definitely showing his head, though, in terms of an operator. We weren't sure if the nerfs were going to really affect whether or not he's played. They haven't been bothering to ban him. I don't think it's something that they're considering that much of a problem. Starting to wonder, though, if Dokkaebi is going to end up on the chopping block with how irritating it probably has been to defenders on both sides.
Oh, boy.
As you said, it's been played a lot now in the current meta, especially when Glaz is banned. So it is something that does make me think, although part of the reason we're seeing Glaz banned, something we haven't mentioned yet, is his fire rate buff that we saw has made him quite the beast.
Oh my God.
And I can understand why just no team wants to deal with him at this point. So that at the moment might be the reason that is getting banned every time, whereas if that does change, we might see them ban less. However, Vigil is now down.
Yeah, RDZ nicely done. He'll get cleaned up with the SMG-12. Looks like RDZ is just really happy playing on the Dokkaebi. Wog will have to jump on down as Psycho wants to pick him back up as Julio watching the angles just in case they go for a quick peek against him. I really can't wait how Dokkaebi gets played in every single region, as Europe with KS and Livin are two players that definitely used to abuse the ever so heckin' way of Dokkaebi.
Yeah. Speaking of abusing, he's not abusing these goo mines. He's standing below a hatch with 2 goo mines in his pocket. Seems like a misplay in terms of you could potentially drop one below the hatch, watch the angle, wait for them to drop it. But he's going to play overly aggressive, and I don't think that's been working out on their defenses here for NiP.
All half damage here on the Hibana. This NIP retreat on the site mostly. Every single player watching a hatch or any destroyed, well, predisposed position that they had opened up. Kamikaze 3 goo mines now in the pocket, finally throwing in. I understand why he might be leaving them in the pocket just in case he needs to use them for drops at the end, but the hatches, they're there. It's going to be very difficult to peek through them and take down any goo mine that's set up below. But still, Drunksy will get a refrag here as Wog goes down, still turning it into a 3v4. 10 seconds left on the clock. Julio, beautiful peek, getting the headshot on RDZ. From the back, Julio will get the second one as well. A slash will go down. Docky and Drunks still the last 2 alive. Docky gets one, tries to go in for the second. How does he get the headshot? Docky, Black Dragon somehow make it. A Psycho still in the back, and Docky with the 3K. NIP fall, and Black Dragons 1 round away from a major upset in map 1. Our first map, our first game in Latin America Pro League.
I guess I wasn't wrong when I said they were still warming up at the beginning there, but what a turnaround we've seen. 3 attack wins in nearly a row from them. Only 1 defensive win from NiP. This is, you see which side they should have been on. They should have started attack. Tell you what, if I was, I mean, unless you were worried about warming up, I'll tell them what.
What?
I just need to learn how to say it in Portuguese first.
We need to send a quick message to Meligeni just in case he'd like to help us out with the translation.
Translate.
Well, you see, face de revelação. We have our project manager here, who's Portuguese. He'll probably tell me to not ruin the language. So,
too late.
Predicted. There you go. 6th pick will go in, as Valkyrie will be the 6th pick for NIP. At this point, it's not really a surprise, really. Hey, Border or Consulate or really any other map, Valkyrie being played. Whoop-de-doo. It's
You're not impressed?
Yeah, I'm not impressed. Wow, Valkyrie. Yeah, she's a great operator. Everybody was saying, oh, you're adding the camera. Oh, you're adding Maestro. Nobody's going to play Valkyrie now. No. No.
Well, especially when Maestro's banned.
Especially
that
that.
Helps.
So, yeah, the camera, global camera, great. Valkyrie's still pretty good.
It's the ability to chuck a camera as opposed to having to place it like an ADS. I think is a significant difference.
And you can change the angle on it. You can't do that with a stationary camera. With Maestro, he's got to be alive to operate.
Yeah, he's the only one who can turn it. Yeah, that's a good point because the Valkyrie Black Eyes can't be turned by anyone. It's those small details that seem to, I don't know, matter. Although, this is the beginning of the season. The operators are new. Some of the changes are new. So it could shift over the season or by region, but I do agree that there's a lot of advantages still to using those Black Eyes. And if anything, it might just compound with the other operators, like you see Echo still being a consistent pick along with that, which acts as a camera that, again, people can use when they're dead, and can even mark on now, something that they can also do with Twitch shock drones. So those 2 factors definitely factor into extra intel on top of the Black Eyes. So yeah, it is it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Surprising to see not a lot of IQ play, though, to help counter that. Did see a little bit earlier, but a minor amount. But they also were just not utilizing the gadget for that. With the fact that we've seen Vigil played as well, it surprises me even more that we don't see it. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like Black Dragons have needed it.
Well, this is the Valkyrie camera position that we're talking about. It's very, very good. It covers the entirety of the side of the map. So the entirety of the north side is just held down by one Valkyrie cam. Is absolutely fantastic position. You see Julio has just... This is so difficult to peek because you need to expose yourself so hard. And the instant you do that, there's always the defender playing downstairs. You'll get pushed, you'll get taken out. You really have to be careful when you contest this Valkyrie camera, if you spot it even.
I'm almost surprised they didn't do a jump out on him right then.
Which is why it's surprising that IQ is not being played.
Yeah. Well, either way, though, it has definitely been working out, I would say, overall for NIP in terms of getting intel, but not working out in terms of getting kills from it. And that is the big problem is, again, there was no jump out there when they had the opportunity and the intel to be able to do it. That could have been a nice pick on the repelling attacker. But they're playing a little more passive this round, and it might help.
This might actually work the way of NIP. Oh, no, not like that. Psycho might have just been spotted. C4 is going to get thrown out here as the kill will go in. That's one hip fire with the MPX, the second one with the SMG-11. As Drunksy just running around getting the kill on Psycho. That's only one eliminated, but the Zofia and the Doka be removed. I'm very close to removing the Hibana. That's one. It's a minute left with a 4v2. NIP just shutting down BD as quickly as possible. Drunksy, as good as he is on just the aggressive plays in the Ash, not good enough, but Doki still. Long angle here as Wog will go down. The usual smoke suspect on NIP, the only ones left. Julio with the Jaeger and the Bandit not gonna get that kill. Well, he'll get the second one. DZD coming around from the back. Julio will get one. He's trying to play the long range spray here against Doki. Fuser can be set.
This could be a tie. This is very close. If Doki can't clutch this, we're going to see our first tie.
Very possible. 4-5. Well, the two Yokais, one of them might have been taken out, but you know what? There's still another one to play with. Doki cannot even go for that diffuser save as NIP looking for the tie. That's the least that they can hope for in here. Doki has had good times on the Lion. They'll have to go through the two. Bandit not going to be able to get the kill with the C4, but the Bearing 9 will finish it off for Julio. So NIP tie it 5-5. And first game, a bit of an upset. Black Dragons against the former lineup of Black Dragons. New NIP. They tie 5-5. Well, at least each team will get 1 point on the standings. So that's something, but it's still very much an upset. Draw.
Absolutely, yeah, especially for a team like NIP, former Black Dragons, as you said, to get their draw against a team that just came up from Challenger League is definitely something that is going to set them back, I suppose, a little bit mentally, unexpectedly, because they had such a strong start. They won the first 2 rounds. Yeah, they lost a round and then picked up another round.